Asosan bu ixtiroga 2000-yildan boshlab qattiq kirishganman.
Attention investors, invention. These inventions will bring big revenue. A scientist from Uzbekistan, a member of the Association of Folk Medicine, Rakima Ochilova, is going to sell Kuvatin, Noglyukin and about 10 of his inventions. The scientist has copyrights for these two drugs obtained in Uzbekistan and Russia. Kuvatin is a natural miracle remedy that increases potency mainly in men and energy in women. It also treats tachycardia in cardiovascular diseases. In the course of scientific studies, it was found that the drug has a very beneficial effect on diseases of the nervous system, and even patients suffering from Parkinson's disease were cured with this drug. And Noglyukin raises immunity by 100%. As a result, it cures many diseases present in the body. For example, the drug was used in clinical trials to treat diabetes, and the results were excellent. In particular, the studies showed that it was able to reduce the amount of sugar in the body of diabetics. Noglyukin is also used for nervous diseases, deterioration and loss of memory, improvement of blood circulation in the brain. Below is more about inventions. These and other inventions developed by Rakima Ochilova play an important role in the treatment of many human health diseases. Therefore, these inventions stimulate a sense of pride among the scientific community of Uzbekistan and arouse great interest in the international arena. If there is an investor, the scientist wants to build a plant in Uzbekistan and start producing these inventions. Or, the scientist is ready to sell the copyright to her inventions to those who want to run their own business. The scientist just wants these inventions to be put into practice, and for thousands, millions of people to be cured with these drugs based on natural medicinal plants. What are the useful aspects of the drugs, Noglyukin and Kuvatin? As for the fact that these drugs are obtained from silkworms. Silkworms are the source of 17 types of amino acids, including vital amino acids, various trace elements, fats and other substances necessary for the full functioning of the human body. Silk is mainly used in the textile industry, but at the same time, more than 200 types of drinks and tinctures, as well as various medicines, are made from it. Today, countries such as Japan and China, which have extensive experience in healing with gifts of nature, also value the healing properties of silkworms. In addition, these countries are achieving good results in the preparation of preparations from silkworm. Here Rakima Ochilova during her research is a little different, and takes drugs mainly from a silk cocoon, that is, Kuvatin. Noglyukin and dozens of similar drugs were obtained and developed mainly from a silk cocoon, using different technological techniques. Since Kuvatin contains natural protein, it is recommended for athletes and people involved in heavy physical activity. Also, Kuvatin is rich in such trace elements as magnesium, calcium, iron, manganese, xenon, sodium, which are mainly necessary and recommended for angina pectoris, anemia, weak immunity, neurosis, stress, oliguria, renal failure with anuria, severe liver diseases, frequent diseases in children with weak immunity, problems with the sex glands, physical weakness and tuberculosis. Noglyukin, on average, the composition, which consists of 77.5% of natural peptides, polypeptides and zero peptides. Ideal state consists of a natural protein. The preparation Noglyukin contains 16 amino acids, trace elements and collected macro elements such as magnesium, calcium, iron, manganese, sodium, potassium, xenon and fatty acids. It is mainly accepted for diseases caused by metabolic disorders, problems of growth and development of the child's body, pancreatitis, diabetes mellitus, anemia, weak immunity, exhaustion of the body due to intense physical exertion, problems of the gonads, thyroid dysfunction, leukopenia, hypertrophy, obesity, periodontal disease and tuberculosis. Contraindications during clinical trials and studies were not identified. Both for biologically active additives have been tested by the expert commission of the Ministry of Health of Uzbekistan and have received registration and a special certificate. So, where did the scientist's idea come from to obtain these two drugs, rich in about 20 useful substances, from an ordinary silk cocoon? Rakima Ochilova devotes his life, love to science, in the name of the health of the people. She will never stop working and learning along the way. During these studies, the scientists discovered evidence that in the Middle Ages, the mulberry tree was used to treat many diseases, in particular, the manuscripts of Ibn Sina, a major scientist of the 10th-11th centuries, that tinctures prepared from the roots and leaves of the mulberry tree can treat diabetes, colds of the lungs, increase immunity, improve the circulatory system, diseases of the oral cavity, heart and can be used in the treatment of other diseases. Based on this information, the research of Rakima Ochilova on mulberry and cocoon once again proves how reliable and valuable the historical information left by Ibn Sina is, despite the fact that Noglyukin and Kuvatin are patented and, unlike their counterparts, can be used as a medicine. Why were they produced as bar And why did attempts to realize products of such an outstanding invention stop? The scientist explained that in 2013, she left this place due to the start of dismantling work at the Research Institute of Plant Chemistry and Biopharm. Hakeem LLC encountered financial difficulties. Rakima Ochilova interview. In 2001, a group of scientists from pharmacology and toxicology gathered at the Ministry of Health, which included the director of the Institute of Chemistry of Plant Substances, where I work, Professor Kusnetdin Chakidoyatov, the Minister of Health Feroz Gafrovich, who conducted tests of Coumadin and Nogalukin on mice, the director of the Pharmacology Laboratory of the Institute of Chemistry of Plant Substances Vladimir Syrov, the president of the Academy of Sciences Dr. Murid Jurevich, etc. And the question was raised, what should we do with this drug? Because the first invented drug Coumadin at that time became big news for Russia, Uzbekistan and all CIS countries. Then, Feroz Gafrovich said that it would be better to release Coumadin and Nogalukin as a biologically active additive, and not as a drug, that is, as an auxiliary food additive, since it also contains 18 amino acids. This is a very large indicator. He said that I would be a scientist who invented a bar for the first time in Uzbekistan. I agreed to this, and therefore the drug Coumadin began to be called a bar. The documents presented by the heroine of our project indicate and confirm that the drug Nogalukin was tested in 2000 at the Scientific Testing Institute's Endocrinology, Pulmonology, and Coumadin at the Academy of Sciences of Rus, the Institute of Chemistry of Plant Substances, the Scientific Testing Institute Cardiology, and several prestigious research institutes in Russia. Many of the healer's scientific articles in this direction were also published in the Russian journal Vestnik. And in 2014 she presented her inventions in Egypt and signed a memorandum of cooperation. Professor Zarifboy Ibadaliev, director of the Scientific and Medical Center Asab Varuhiyet, expressed a positive opinion about the research and inventions of Rahima Ochilova, who is currently a member of the Association of Traditional Medicine of Uzbekistan. If theory and practice do not combine, then the invention of the scientist will remain useless. Zarifboy Ibadaliev, professor, the task of a scientist is to invent. The task of the state is to bring the created invention to the people, to implement it in practice. Whichever country will be the leader, the invention of a scientist will immediately go to it. If a scientist does not have the means, if his invention is not supported, if it is not combined with theory and practice, the invention of a scientist will remain useless, says Professor Zarifboy Ibadaliev in a conversation with us. The professor regrets that although 10 to 15 years have passed since the creation of Rakima Ochilova's inventions, they still do not reach the people. For example, the scientists who created that famous insulin received the Nobel Prize. A scientist from Uzbekistan created the drugs Coumadin and Nogalukin from a cocoon. Uzbekistan is a country where cocoon is grown a lot. This is a very important scientific discovery. As a scientist with 33 years of medical and medical pedagogical experience, I can say that these drugs are effective for patients suffering from diabetes mellitus, as well as neurological diseases. During the interview, the professor noted that he personally tested these two drugs in the treatment of several patients and received good results. Over the years, Rakima Ochilova has managed to cure more than 1,000 people from various diseases. A large number of patients who have been treated according to the recommendations of the healer do not get tired of thanking her and sharing that their health has been strengthened, and they feel much better. At the same time, she recommends her treatments to her relatives and acquaintances. Thus, the research potential of Rakima Ochilova testifies to her ability to create many new ideas and discoveries. This could make life easier for millions of people in the healthcare sector. Today, Rakima Ochilova is developing not only Coumadin and Nogalukin, but also more than 10 other inventions. And these inventions are very expensive due to their unique and healing properties. To implement them in practice, the scientist needs financial support and protection. If a business investor is found building a plant, producing inventions and exporting them to foreign countries, it is possible to obtain a large financial profit. The findings of scientists who participated in research on patents, copyrights and inventions issued by the states of Uzbekistan and Russia have been verified. These documents will certainly be presented to persons interested in the project. Healer Rakima Ochilova devoted the rest of her life to medicine and plans to obtain patents for many more inventions for public health. Attention! Investors interested in the scientist's inventions can call the following numbers. Phone 9989983859759989004540086. Brief information about the scientist, Rahima Ochilova. Rakima Ochilova Kakimovna, a member of the Association of Traditional Medicine, was born on December 10, 1963 in the Gijduvan district of the Bukhara region in a family of intellectuals. She graduated from the Bukhara State Pedagogical Institute in 1985 and worked for some time as a teacher in one of the schools in the district where she lived. At the same time, She studies the composition and beneficial properties of natural plants and collects information related to their positive impact on human health. Our heroine is not a specialist in chemistry or biology. Her grandmother, Aisha Ochilova, passed on her medical skills. She decided to continue her grandmother's work, studying the information and technology that her grandmother had collected during her career. The results of her research and tests were not long in coming. The healer not only first developed the invention in Uzbekistan kuvatin and nogyukin from a cocoon, but is also the author of more than 10 unique inventions. The scientist relies only on nature when developing inventions. First, she carefully studies the composition of natural plants and their beneficial properties for human health to determine the benefits of each product developed by the invention. She first consumes it herself and tests the result on herself for some time. Only after achieving good results, she does it use in the treatment of patients. The scientist devotes her main attention and energy to science. And in 2000 she founded the Al Hakim Research and Production Center. The properties of the boar kuvatin and nogyukin developed in this center quickly became popular and began to spread among people. They are sold in large quantities and make a profit. In 2006, the healer ceased the activities of this research and production center and founded Biofarm Hakim LLC, specializing in the production of natural medicines and boar. Until 2014, Rakima Ochilova was the head of this organization and the main author of the development.
Umrini ham tabobatga bag'ishlagani, xalq salomatligi yo'lida hech qachon izlanishdan charchamasligini aytadi.